Welcome back. So this video is designed to show you, kind of go through a little bit of what's going to happen as far as the test 3, which is going to be Monday, March 30th. First of all, the review sheet is on D2L in our content section. If you come over to the side, exam reviews, just like all of the rest of them. Exam review number 3, we'll pull up this Word document here so you can look at that. As far as what's going to be on the test, just like any of the other tests, you'll need to know the anatomy, the physical structures, and also the functions of both the upper respiratory and the lower respiratory system. Remember, the larynx or the voice box splits those. So everything above the larynx is upper, everything below is lower respiratory tract. We spent quite a bit of time in chapter 19 about increases in volume and how the chest cavity can increase in volume, and that would decrease pressure, and that's what allows air to go into the lungs. We talked about recoil and relaxation of muscles and things like that that help with exhalation. So make sure you look over those physical and what is the word I'm looking for? Physical and basically the structural changes that happen to allow the physics of the inhalation and exhalation. Respiratory volumes and capacities, look over what those are, like vital capacity versus tidal capacity versus total lung capacity and so forth. Gas exchanges, remember we talked about partial pressures of oxygen, which direction different gases diffuse as far as like from the alveoli to the blood and the capillaries, that would be oxygen diffusing in that direction. Some things that affect how much gases are going to be exchanged. And then another important one is how oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported in the blood. They're both transported very differently and can be transported a few different ways. So make sure you look over those. We talked about macro anatomy of the kidney, like the capsule, the renal pelvis, medulla, cortex, and so forth. And then we talked about the micro anatomy, which would be like the anatomy of the nephrons. So make sure you know the anatomy of the kidney in both of those ways, but also what the ureters do. That's definitely important, how many of them there are, how many kidneys there are, the job of the bladder, and also the urethra. We talked about blood flow through the kidneys, and there's also a video on that if you want to rewatch that. And then how the filtrate and urine flow through the nephrons. Okay, so it starts at the glomerular capsule, goes through the proximal tubule, down the nephron loop, and the distal convoluted tubule out to the collecting duct, and so forth. We also talked about, we had that table in the textbook that we went through in class and looked at differences in different substances, like for example sodium and potassium and glucose, looking at different compositions between what's in the blood plasma, what's in the filtrate, and what's in the urine. And if you remember these steps of urine formation, filtration, reabsorption, and secretion, add and take different substances in and out of the urine. So make sure you definitely look that over. And there's going to be some things that affect how much urine there is. We talked about antidiuretic hormone and diuretics that are going to increase the volume of the urine. And then also we want urine to be concentrated. We don't just want to be excreting a bunch of water if a person is dehydrated. And then micturition, look over that process as well, and look through those. If you have any specific questions on content, be sure to reach out and get in touch with me, either through email or call my office phone for that. Okay, so chapters 19 and 20 are going to be on the review, or excuse me, on the exam. And while we are here in D2L, I just wanted to reiterate, in case you haven't seen the videos yet, lecture video under chapter 20 is here. You should be doing the kidney dissection lab as well. That's required to watch both of those videos. And then these down here underneath, blood flow and nephron filtration, those are all optional. The other thing I wanted to show you is the daily checklists, just to remind you about those. So for March 25th, here's the things that you need to know and to do for this class period. So watch the lecture video, watch the dissection video, and then chapter 19 and 20, Learn Smart and Connect, are due on Friday, and then the exam. Okay, so I'm going to post one of these every day so you know exactly what is being expected of you each class period. Okay, now to take the exam, I'm going to switch over to Connect because that's where the exam is going to be. Okay, it's posted right here, exam 3, respiratory and urinary system. And you can notice there's a little lock here. Okay, if you click on that, oops, this is incorrect. I'll have to change that. You will have 60 minutes to complete the test, not 2 hours. It will be changed to 60 minutes. Okay, so you have, once you enter into the exam, it will let you in after midnight on March 30th. It will not let you in before, and you must complete it by 11:59 p.m. But you only have 1 hour or 60 minutes once you click start on that exam. So you can't go in and leave because the timer will keep on ticking. Okay, so set aside an hour when you're going to take the test and just sit down and get it done. You know, this is on the honor system. I think with the time limit, you're definitely going to have to study ahead of time because you are not going to have a chance to look up the answers to all of the different questions. And if we're being honest, I would hope that you don't do that, that you're not looking up and Googling all of the answers because I want you to know them and you're only cheating yourself. Okay, but anytime during Monday, March 30th, you can come in and take the test. Okay, so you don't have to do it during our regular class period because I know some of you guys, since we're not on campus, you're working, you have other commitments and things like that. So I'm going to be flexible. And so anytime on the 30th, as long as you're complete with it before 11:59 p.m., you can take that test. Okay, it's going to be worth 83 points, and we'll go by your percentage to, you know, if you get like a 98%, you'll get 98 out of 100 points in D2L. That's how that'll work. There will be multiple choice. There'll be true, false. I think there's a matching, click and drag the correct term over to the correct right sentence, and there'll be labeling as well. So make sure you look over all of those things just so you're not surprised because the test is in Connect. The labeling will look at some models very similar to the models that we had in class. There may be some diagrams, and there's also a few labeling of a cadaver. So, you know, make sure you look over the structures and be familiar with those. Okay, so again, if you have any questions about the exam, let me know. I will try to keep my phone near me on Mondays while you guys are taking that test in case you have any questions you're unclear about. But that's kind of where we're moving forward to. Next Wednesday, we will move into chapter 21, which is fluid and electrolyte balance, and we'll get through it. So again, let me know if you have any questions, and good luck with the test.